Living with COPD does not mean that you have to give up on the joys of traveling. With the right preparation, you can have safe and memorable trips, whether you're visiting family away, whether you're taking a little break, or enjoying and exploring new places. Hi, I'm Dr. Zafar, and today we're going to talk about some tips and tricks that can help you travel safely and confidently with your COPD. The first question is it safe for you to travel? And the answer to that is, it depends. There are many factors that play over here. It depends on how is the current condition of your lungs, how is your current condition of your health. It depends on how you are traveling, where you're traveling, and are you traveling with someone, are you traveling alone, and how well you are prepared for your travel. Generally, if your COPD is in good control and you have not had a recent flare-up or recent illness or recent hospitalization, then it is safe for you to travel. But of course, you have to discuss this with your doctor and come up with a good travel plan so that everything is safe and well thought through. Get a medical note from your doctor and list down all your medical conditions on it. Make sure you have an updated list of your medications, and I would suggest that keep a hard copy, a printed copy of some of your medical records that are essential. You don't want to rely on the phone battery or the internet access to be able to access your records. So while they are on your phone, also keep a little bit hard copies to show during travel or use it whenever you need it. Now let's talk about the mode of traveling. The best and the safest way for you to travel would be by your own car, by your own vehicle. That way you're not exposed to extra people, and also you have full control over the activities and when to take a break and when to rest. But if you're traveling on a bus or a train or an airplane, then little bit planning can help it make it really safe for you. First, you know that you'll be exposed to many more people in a closed cabin. So make sure you have your safety precautions ready. You have a face mask with you that you can put on to avoid any respiratory bugs. You have a hand sanitizer that you can use often to clean your hands before you rub on your face. So you don't want to spoil your vacation with catching a respiratory bug during your transits. Also, when you're traveling, you might have some luggage limitations. So you have to pick and choose that what are the right things to put in my hand carry and in my checked-in bags. I would suggest that keeping your medications and your essentials in your hand carriage so that they are easily accessible to you whenever you need them. They're not in the back of the trunk, or they're not in the checked-in bag that you don't have access to. And you need to be prepared for unexpected delays in travel. Sometimes you have a planned trip for 8 hours and it turns out that there is a layover or a flight got canceled and you have to spend 12 hours or 14 hours in the airport. So do you have enough supplies for you to last during those times, your oxygen, your medications, and whatnot? So be ready, and I would say be a bit extra ready so that if there's anything unexpected that happens during your transit, during your travel, you have all the preparation already there. You should consider using wheelchair services at the terminal so you avoid long distance walking. Also, make sure that you arrive at the terminal well ahead of time so that you're not in a position of rush or panic. When packing for your travel, make sure to have sufficient supplies of your medications with you. Bring your devices and other equipment that is needed for your respiration, and if you use Pep Buddy, make sure your Pep Buddy is with you. I would advise that putting your medications and your rescue devices in the bag that is most accessible to you, so that you can easily use it whenever you need it. Also, with the checked bags, there's always a little risk of baggage getting delayed or getting lost, so you don't want to be in that position. Make sure you have some supplies of face masks with you, especially if you're going to be traveling in public transport or you're going to be attending public gatherings or visiting places where there are going to be many other people. The next step is to have an action plan for your COPD. Now, when you're traveling, you're being exposed to a different environment. The weather might be different, it might be more hot, more cold, it might be more humid, there might be different levels of pollution over there, and you might be exposed to different people around you. So all these things can put you at risk of having a COPD flare-up. And whenever the COPD flare-up starts kicking in, you will notice a change in your symptoms. Symptoms are getting worse, and you don't want that to ruin your vacation and your travel. So make sure you're well prepared for it. You have discussed this with your doctor, and you have a prescription for steroids like prednisone or some antibiotics, and you have a clear instructions from your doctors of when to use these medicines and which symptoms to look for to start treating your COPD flare-up before it gets out of hand. When planning your activities for the trip, Don't overplan and have too many things happening in one day. Make sure there's enough time of rest and recovery between activities. And if you are feeling exhausted or you're feeling short of breath, then slow it down and take a rest and cancel some activities and make sure you prioritize your health. Now let's talk about arranging oxygen supplies for your travel. Now if you are someone with lung disease or COPD who use oxygen, then you need to plan way ahead. Talk to your oxygen supplier and see who are the people who you can contact in the destination place. If you're taking your oxygen concentrator with you, make sure there's enough battery and enough backup that it can last the travel and beyond. Again, there can be some unexpected delays in your travel and you don't want your battery to run out. So plan for something that is like 1.5 times more than your travel time expected. Oxygen treatment becomes a bit more tricky when you're traveling by air. The air cabin pressure is low, so the functional oxygen, the amount of oxygen you can get in that cabin, is much lower than what we get in our day-to-day life. Everyone gets a little bit less oxygen when they're flying in the plane, but for most people with normal lungs, it does not matter. For people with COPD and lung disease, that little bit change in oxygen levels actually can make a big difference in their blood oxygen level. If you use oxygen during sleeping and during activities, you will perhaps need oxygen during your flight as well. And if you use oxygen all the time, then you might need a little bit extra oxygen during your flight. So you have to talk to the airlines, you have to communicate to them. There's usually a form that you can fill out and submit to them prior to your travel dates. And you can talk to the representative of the airline to make sure all arrangements are done. Are you going to use your own oxygen supply or airline's oxygen? Are you going to take your concentrator with you? And all those things need to be sorted out before you plan your travel. I suggest you talk to your pulmonologist and your doctors because they might need to write a letter to the airlines, and you might actually need to go through some testing to figure out how much extra oxygen you need while you're traveling. So with that, I would say that traveling with COPD is possible and enjoyable, but you just have to plan a little bit more and make sure that these tips are also shared with the person traveling with you so they can also understand your limitations and they can also plan accordingly. I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe to our channel to learn more about living with COPD and lung diseases, and also look up our website pepbuddy.com to learn more about better breathing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.